critical back understanding is very important. The whole idea of we are at a very important transition in the world. This is a map of reality I developed at age 40. Age 40 is the time where you begin to, for some people, you begin to find your real self. Okay? And everything that you will need to think about or need to believe, you have to question everything. Let me explain the structure to you. There are three vertical categories, okay, which is derived from the Western philosopher in the 19th century, Friedrich Hegel. Hegel's idea of what he calls the dialectics. Dialectics, according to Hegel, is the interaction between a proposition and its counter-proposition. Okay? And in the process of this interaction, right, you will develop a synthesis. Right? So the contradicting ideas will then come to a new idea. Karl Marx, who I read when I was 15 years old, I was in Asia. We had a small group that was studying the Communist Manifesto. Right? And so I came in contact with dialectical materialism, which was developed by Marx, which resulted in the Communist Manifesto. Okay? Dialectical materialism says that the first vertical category is the substructure. Substructure, which is the material world, that produces structure, which is the political economy, which then produces the superstructure, which is culture, art, music, all of that, right? So these three categories are in the Marxian concept, flowing in one direction, from substructure to structure to superstructure. This is where postmodernism, I have to talk about this because I think we are now living in a postmodern condition. Okay? Postmodernism criticism of Marx, of dialectical materialism, is that Marx forgot or omitted subjectivity. People have feelings, people have culture, people have traditions, right? And you cannot force people into this one-directional flow of substructure, structure, superstructure, right? So postmodernism, particularly people like Derrida and Foucault, right, seriously critique this. The postmodern criticism basically said that dialectical materialism must be intersected by three horizontal categories, which is the dialectics of subjectivism. Okay? So in a very interesting lecture which I was asked to give to my friends in Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka is socialist, right? And they are also Buddhists, right? So basically, the two different categories I explained to them, which they understood immediately, right, is the Marxian ideology, right? But Marx must be intersected by Buddha, because they are Buddhists, right? So this is the interesting thing. So in this intersection between the three vertical and three horizontal categories is a map by which you can understand the entire dynamics of everyday life, everything. Okay? It's a map. A map does not tell you where to go. It tells you that if you want to go there, this is how you can get there. Okay? So it's a map. It's not a map. It is not a prescription, it's simply a description. Alright? So, the first horizontal category is the superconscious, that's the philosophical level.
Sorry, I have to insist.
Is the conscious.
Stand up left or right, because you're getting
And
the
the
picture of
conscious
the
right in the
front.
middle is in the middle square is the political economy, which consists of 5 M's, right? Man, which is labor; material, which is substance; methods, which is technology; right? Money, which is the means by which the economy is run; and meaning, right? This is where the problem is. The meaning is manipulated in order for people to some extent satisfied, and to satisfy the traumas of everyday life, you must entertain them. Okay, that's where all the entertainment comes in, right? Entertainment comes in, right? So in the past, it was amusement parks. Then the next time was movies, right? And then now videos, right? And then now, what do you call it?
In the interest of time, so we only have 5 minutes left before we break. Please.
Anyway, so this is how consumption is manipulated. The manipulation of consumption is very interesting, right? On the way here, when I was in the MRT, there are lots of young people coming to the city, and you can see that the handbags and so on. And on the handbags are little dolls, all of them. And when they wear these, what do you call it? Shoes, they are little decorative. So this is symptomatic. In other words, in order to dumb down the curiosity and the criticism of existing order, you must what is now described as protracted adolescence. Right? So you must make people childish as long as possible. Right? And because you are childish, they need to be entertained. And to be entertained is to buy things. Okay, so this is how the economy is driven. Okay? We can discuss this more later. So in the eco-society which we are going to move towards, right, there are the vertical dimensions indicate the degree of emphasis, right? So you find that the yellow thing on the top left-hand corner is the spiritual philosophy. So spirituality becomes emphasized in the eco-society, right? Whereas the purple in the center, which is the economy, is actually depressed. It's depressed because you don't need a lot of labor anymore, because most of the labor will be produced by robots. Right? Then the brown one, which is taller, right, is culture, art. In other words, in order to keep people occupied, right, because they don't need to work that much anymore, right, therefore they have to become much more self-propelled. So, art is the thing that we can discuss this a bit more, but what is left after the machine has taken over all the things that you normally do, right, in terms of work, is that there are things that the human being can do which machines cannot do. The human beings can be totally idiosyncratic. We can do absurd things, right? Because then that is our fundamental nature.